What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about the upcoming one-click set rentals because we have a little bit of a preview of that, and then I actually want to go into what the earnings could look like for someone to come in. Now, this is going to be all over the place. You're going to feel all different kinds of emotions with this. I ask that you just roll with me and listen to the numbers, and then we can, of course, draw our fun conclusions at the end. So, as it stands right now, if you wanted to get all the cards currently available in modern format, you could do that through the Peak Monsters deck builder here, the My Deck section. So I have two ones highlighted here. Shout out to Ventura and Shisha for putting these decks together. And essentially, the first one here is everything in Chaos Legion, right? So Chaos, Rift Watchers, the promo cards, as well as all the reward cards. Of course, this does not include the, what's that called? Soulbound reward cards. People will have to earn those as they go along. So we're looking at this through the lens of like a new player. On top of that, you can also get a full maxed version of the Rebellion set. Now, this is missing 5 cards in there, and those 5 cards are probably going to be important. But again, just for the sake of this video, we're going to assume that getting everything for Chaos Legion and then getting all but 5 maxed copies of cards in Rebellion is going to get you pretty high, right? Get you to a decent spot. So let's do this. I'm going to go over to the calculator. You can see here for Chaos Legion, it's going to be about 4,000 DEC, and I'm just using rough numbers here, right? So 4,000 DEC to rent every single card. That'll be the daily price, and then about 12,248 DEC down here in order to rent Rebellion. And again, you'll be missing 5 cards in that when you rent. So let's just go over to the calculator, right? So we're going to use rough numbers. You're going to do oh, come on now. Why is this not working? 4,000 plus another 12,200 plus 800, because 800 DEC per day gets you at the 0.004. That gets you roughly 200,000 SPS staked, right? So this is all rented. Somebody coming in brand new, they want to put some money into the game, but they just want to test it out and play at the higher levels, whatever it is. This is what it looks like. 17,000 DEC per day. Okay, that's per day. Now with DEC at PEG, that's $17. Right? So that's not, I mean, $17 a day to play a game is kind of insane. Sure, I mean, we can multiply this by, it's like below peg right now, 0.00085, and you know, it's $14.45. So let's just go with $17. Let's assume DEC's at peg, right? So the maximum amount you'd pay, and we can also just kind of compensate for those other 5 cards and just, you know, push it up to $17. So you're thinking to yourself, geez, who in their right mind would pay $17 a day to play a game when the returns aren't that great? And you'd be right to think that. But let's actually dig a little bit deeper into the returns. Now, I'm going to look at the best case scenario first, and then we'll scale it back down once we take a look at that. The largest or the highest amount that I've seen somebody win in a match is, I think, Brave Tofu. So shout out to Brave Tofu. Posted that they're winning like 60 SPS per match. Now, maybe that's a one-off. Maybe they were on a streak. Maybe whatever the case is. But just for argument's sake, right? We're going to do 60 SPS. We're going to assume SPS is down at a penny, right? Even though it's slightly higher. So that gets you roughly 60 cents per win. Multiply that by a 50% win rate. And all of a sudden, you're actually making $7.02 per day, but you're spending 17. So here's where it gets interesting, right? Because now all of a sudden, we're calculating this with SPS at 1 cent. SPS doesn't even need to go to 3 cents. And all of a sudden, you're earning more, right? You're earning $21 a day versus the $21 a day versus the 17 that you're paying. You're coming out ahead $4. Now, again, are people going to look at that and say, well, that's, you know, there's too many factors in there. You'd have to first make it up into champion, and so you're out of pocket $17 for those first couple of days that you're using up all that energy. Yeah, okay. Again, you're right on all this stuff, right? So I'm not trying to do anything crazy here. I'm acknowledging that, but I'm also saying that SPS wouldn't need to go up that high. Now, let's actually go back now to what I think is more of an average earning, right? So 40 SPS per win, right? So times 0.01, that's 40 cents per win times 12 wins per day. That's $4.08, right? So now we're looking at this and saying, well, SPS only needs to go to 4 cents, and all of a sudden you're breaking even. Now, what does this not include? Well, it doesn't include if you participate in brawls and you get paid out some SPS from there. Again, it's going to be minimal. It doesn't include tournaments and the SPS that you might win from there, which it can be significant. Maybe not too significant, but it definitely adds up over time if you're consistently playing, right? So that adds on to this. And there are tournaments playing and paying out pretty much every day at this point, right? You can participate in all of them. I don't know if it's all worth your time, but I'm trying to participate in at least silver and above at this point. And then on top of that, you will be earning SPS as you go forward, right? So let's say you earn some SPS, it automatically gets staked, and sure, maybe you need to unstake it to sell to cover your rental costs and all that. But if you get to a point where you are ahead, right? So for example, SPS gets to 4 cents, and now all of a sudden you are paying $17 a day, right, to play the game, but you're coming away with $2, right? $2.02. All of a sudden, the excess SPS that you allow to stake there is earning you vouchers, which you can sell or use or whatever it is that you want. And it's earning you extra SPS as you go along. So there's different kind of revenues and incomes that come in through this as you start playing. And in the beginning, you don't need to rent out like a max deck. I mean, maybe you do, because I'm still facing like max decks down in silver, which kind of sucks. But ultimately, this is where it gets really interesting. So I don't want to have this video go out for too long. I just want to share some of these numbers with you. What I will close out is with this. Okay, so if one-click set rentals comes in, you'll be able to rent all of that and start playing, and whatever the case is. Now, the argument can be made that you probably don't need all those rebellion cards, right? That's a huge amount. If you just rent all of Chaos Legion, right, that costs you $4 a day. And I think that could probably get you pretty far, right? So like far enough that you might be able to earn enough SPS to cover that just on its own, right, without getting the choice cards. Now, here's the thing. As we move forward with this one-click set rentals, I don't know who's going to be offering it. I don't know how it's going to work. But once we come out of conflicts, I do wonder if there will be an opportunity there, right? And again, once we come out of conflicts is like still 5 months away. But I'm just trying to paint the picture here for you guys for the remainder of 2024. Once we're out of conflicts, there may be an opportunity here for people to put something like that together, because the yield will actually be quite good. You go in there and you see people are earning $12,000, not $12, but 12,000 DEC a day, right? If you were to rent out a fully maxed Rebellion set. Now, maybe it might not be that high when we get there, and obviously we would want the competition to come in so that lowers prices. But you can see what I'm saying. There'll be an appeal there. So maybe those cards don't all hit the market right away in terms of just being dumped on the market. They would come in and get, rented out, and folks can just come in. And maybe they're not part of the one-click set rentals. Maybe they're just individually rented. But even still, that would provide a little bit more competitive of an edge to folks that wanted to rent. So my closing thought with all that being said is SPS actually doesn't need to go that high in order for people to start being profitable at the game. Yes, it's not fantastic right now, and I think 4 cents is actually a lot farther than even though I'm making it out to be something that's super easy. It's still quite far, right? Even with the launch of Rebellion, the launch of Land 1.5, we couldn't crack 4 cents, right? So that being said, you get enough folks coming in that actually want to try the game, and the one thing that they will need is SPS, and whether they rent it or they go out and buy it, that could create the buy pressure that we need to push us above 4 cents, right? So these things kind of go hand in hand, which is why the team is going so hard at bringing in these new players, because for the rest of us, right, when we tried and we put in money back in December for Land and for Rebellion, that couldn't get us to 4 cents. But if you get new players coming in, it eats up SPS, it eats up cards, it eats up rentals, and even just a push to 4 cents, 5 cents, and all of a sudden, I mean, we're talking about people making dozens of dollars a day, right? Again, the $25 number is something that I always think of because that's what all the articles were talking about back in 2021 for Axie Infinity. Can we get there? Yeah, I think we can, right? Because if we can do that with 5-cent SPS, I mean, just imagine what happens if we go above that. And all of a sudden becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy, this positive feedback loop where more people start playing. Therefore, that pushes demand, pushes the value of SPS, pushes the prizes up, and we get into a fun situation. Now, will that happen? I don't know, right? Obviously, we're all just kind of speculating here, and we're all being somewhat hopeful. But the mechanics are there for it, and the numbers that I'm presenting to you today show that we're not that far off, right? Like for people thinking like, man, we got to hit like a 25, 50 cent or, a dollar SPS in order for this, game to really pop off. I would say no. I mean, I think 5 cents, and all of a sudden you're going to have all the top players bragging about how they're making $50, $60, $7 a day, which would be competitive with games out there like Parallel, right? And those are the conversations that we'll be pushing on platforms like X or social media or Discord, whatever it is. And that could get people to come in because that's what got people to come in back in 2021. So that's all I want to share with you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.